How are you? I am I don't even know which way is up. I went to the osteopath this morning and he literally just reset my whole body for an hour. I'm not exaggerating. It was a whole hour. And I came back home, had something to eat, and then I just like had an hour's nap because I couldn't even I don't know. It feels like I've been run over by a truck. So yeah, I feel a bit better now, but oh my God, osteopaths, what they do to us, it's literally, if you never tried, you haven't lived. That's gonna leave that there. I wanted to record this episode today because something came to my mind that I felt was really important and it's not something I've talked about before. So, first of all, I want to extend a thank you to all of those who have sent me messages, email, audios to say that you have listened to my podcast, that you have devoured it, that which episodes you have loved, how you found it helpful. Some of my emails I'm writing at the moment also seem to really be landing home for someone, and they people are you telling me that it's helping you, you know. And obviously I love that. And I think all of us having some positive feedback, somebody telling us they love what we're doing is just so incredibly amazing. And I really, really appreciate it. So thank you to all of you who have done that. And obviously, when we get positive feedback for something we've done, we feel really, really good. External validation for humans, it's just it's almost like a drug. You know, we absorb it, we just like yay, and we get this hit of dopamine. I specifically have an incredible um need for external validation that I am working really hard on because I had an alcoholic dad and I really struggled with society. I struggle with how to know how to behave around people because my family structure was so fucked up. I struggled to know what was okay and what wasn't. And then when, for example, my peers or teachers would let me know that I had behaved well or done something good, or I could see that, for example, my grades were good, which is why I was such an A student, and I had that positive feedback. I was like, okay, it's fine. I belong. You know, everybody likes me. It's good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm not fucked up with my dad. But I think for various reasons, a lot of us depend on this external validation, and it is very, very dangerous. It is important that we take positive feedback and other people celebrating us and that we celebrate it and we are happy and we appreciate it and we absolutely like wash in it, but also we can't depend on it. Let's say, for example, that I make an episode that I am so happy about and I'm convinced that's going to help so many people, but then you're all busy, or you're on holiday, or you don't have access to electricity for some reason. Maybe, I don't know, we have this famous the 3 days World War kind of hack that they keep talking about in Denmark. I don't know if they do it in any other countries. Like, but you can't listen to my podcast. Or maybe you're just in another point of your life where you just don't need this right now. You could have pharyngitis, so you can't send me audios to tell me how amazing it is. Or you could like have broken your hand, so you can't type messages to me. I don't know, like all sorts of things could be going on for you not reaching out to me and giving me feedback, and then I wouldn't get it, right? I would still be doing my thing. I would be doing something that I think is helpful, but I'm not getting any external validation for it. And then if I depend on it, that is so crushing. I could then, stop doing my podcast because I'm like waiting for everybody to tell me that it's good. And because nobody's telling me, then I stop doing it. And let's say that I do this for 5 years and nobody ever tells me that it's good, but I actually save some lives with it. Maybe somebody who's just on the brink of, losing their shit completely and wanting to leave this world. And then they listen to one of my podcasts and they're like, oh, wait, I'm not alone. Like other people go through this stuff as well. And there's hope for me. I just don't know. I have no clue. I send this out and I just have to hope that it helps somebody, and the one thing I can depend on is me knowing that I'm going to do this every week and that I'm going to be honest and I'm going to tell my story and I'm going to be as open and vulnerable as possible so everybody can that have the same kind of story like me can relate to it and find hope and find help in it, right? That's all I can depend on. I cannot depend on what anybody else think of it. And the reason I'm telling you this is because of cyberbullying, which is now raising. I just heard about a Spanish vet in southern Spain that committed suicide because he was somehow involved, and it was a really long, complicated case, and I didn't want to read through all of it because it was just depressing. But there was some animal mistreatment somewhere, and people have taken into their heads that he was responsible for it. So the cyberbullying was vicious, and it was everywhere. And I think he had to go to court then to talk about it, and he just couldn't face it. So he died by suicide. And it just broke my heart so much, right? Because I can imagine the hell this poor guy has been in. Because as humans, no, to be rejected by so many people and to be so openly despised and hated on by so many and see it spread like ripples in water, that is more than any human emotional state and brain can comprehend. Because we are tribal people, right? Like I keep saying, we used to live in cages with 30, 50, 100 people. We knew everybody. And to do something terribly wrong and be rejected from the tribe meant death. So our brains and our whole nervous system is primed to do everything we can to belong in society, to belong in our clique, in our tribe, and to be rejected and to be told that your identity, which I think for vets is it's pretty important to us, right? To be told that your identity is less than zero, it's bad, you just not you what you do is horrible, and you're a horrible person, you're a horrible vet, over and over, and being rejected by so many people in public, that is inhumane. However, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, hopefully not to all of us, but it's going to happen to some of us at some point. And even if it's not a full-on cyberbullying, it could be bad reviews. It could be rumors that get you that somebody have said, or maybe you're just not getting any positive reviews and you're like, what the hell? I'm doing my best and nobody appreciating me. That's why it's so important that you have a certain confidence in yourself about what you do, who you are, and what you stand for. That you know that you are doing your best every damn day you get up, and that is enough. And whatever anybody else think about you, it cannot matter to you as much as what you think about you. So, for example, with my podcast, for me, I know that I'm going to show up every week and I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to edit it and I'm going to publish it. And that's just, no, I know that I can depend on me to do this. However, the qualities of the podcast coming out, I don't know, but I'm going to do it. And I know I can depend on me. And whatever anybody else think about it, it's just not important, right? It's not that important. The most important bit is what I think about myself, because I cannot influence what other people think about me. And in the veterinary world, I mean, the stories people make up in their heads about what they think about different situations, there's just no way we can control or influence it. About us being bloodsuckers that are just in it for the money. Somebody was spreading rumors about me doing, when I had my clinic in Spain, they were spreading rumors about me doing like experiments on the patients in the back of the clinic, like, well, like, why? This woman in particular was a bit crazy, but we can just not depend on other people being incredibly rational and nice and reasonable and, more than anything, well informed about what we do, and then give us like well informed and reasonable comments or reviews on the internet or in person or to other people. All we can do is do our job, do it properly, and take care of our own mental health and our own emotional resilience. So when somebody stands there shouting at you, you're just in it for the money and you cannot hold my pet random with this, like whatever, and it starts attacking you, take it back to, wait, why did I come to work today? When I got up this morning, was it my intention to go out and hurt somebody or kill their animal? No, I did my best. And whatever the consequences are, I cannot control. A lot of the things we do have ripple effects that we can never know of, right? We could talk someone into putting their pet to sleep because we think that's the best thing for the pet, and that's our opinion for the pet. And then that pet's death could have ripple effects in the family that we don't know about. But we can only do with deal with what we have in front of us in that moment. And obviously our goal is to alleviate suffering and prevent death, and more than anything, suffering if they have to die anyway. So you just don't know the ripple effects of anything you do. You do not know the consequences, and you don't know how people are going to perceive and what stories are going to make up about the consequences of what you did. The only thing you can control is the intention and the thought behind what you do. Whatever action you take, be very careful with what your intention was behind something. Say, for example, that my intention with an episode in this podcast is to help someone overcome, I don't know, their fear of public speaking, for example, or speaking with clients. No, and I talk about, well, when you go into clients, this and the other. And somehow I give an example that offends somebody. So somebody may reach out to me and say, hey, you offended me because, whatever I said, something maybe about a blind client or whatever it was. No, like, because, I think you shouldn't talk about blind people like this. Then my intention was not to do this episode hurting someone or being, disrespectful in any way. But I can then take the feedback and say, oh no, I could see how that could come across. I'm really sorry. But I don't feel terrible because I didn't do it on purpose. It's not something I did on purpose, right? And when people criticize you or jump into the keyboard warrior, I'm here and I know best, on the keyboard and going to the internet world and talk about you, they have no idea about what you possible intentions were when you did something in the clinic. They don't know what the thought work or what went behind or a lot of the background, right? For example, the example in the States where I think it was a German Shepherd that I think had been attacked or eaten something, so it needed like sort of urgent surgery. I think it was $10,000. The owner couldn't afford it. She could only afford the initial tests and stuff to see exactly how bad this young German Shepherd was, and then they convinced her to hand it over to someone else who then paid like the full 10,000 bill and kept the dog. And then suddenly it came out like this big case that they had stolen her money and then they had stolen her puppy and this and the other. And all the people that did all the bullying and absolutely just went crazy on the internet over this case, they didn't know all the backstory of this case, right? They didn't know like why the vets did what they did, why the owner did what they did. They only heard like loose fragments and just formed an opinion on that. And then people just get into this frenzy like piranhas, don't they? So when you have messages coming out or reviews coming out or rumors coming back to you saying that you're a very bad person, you're a very bad vet, you're not professional, what you do is horrible, it can be very difficult to distance yourself from, because we do want people to tell us that we're good vets, that we're nice people, that we do a good job. And sometimes people do as well, right? But it's important to remember, like, why did you do what you did? What was the reasoning behind it? And if you made a mistakes, which we all do at some point, I've made plenty, definitely. Then also say, oh no, I can see what you're saying. Yeah, no, that the dog shouldn't have died. I completely agree with you. This is what happened, and this is why I did what I did. I'm sorry it died. Hands up, that's it. But not let it get to your very core and recognize when your nervous system is being completely overwhelmed, right? Because the people that end up jumping out from a bridge over this is because it lands so hard and it lands so deep within their hearts and their souls and their beings and their identity that they just cannot see a way out, because they just feel attacked and rejected from every side, and they cannot find their place in the world anymore because they just lose all connection. And what I want for all of you is to realize that no matter how bad it seemed to be from the outside, how bad people might be talking about you or to you, and the internet all over the place, first of all, this shall pass, because people will like soon start ranting over something Trump said soon. And even if the stories on the internet, they never fully disappear, obviously there's legal measures you can take and all that, then know that the people that really, really matter in your life, they still love you and they still care about you. And when your brain is telling you, oh my God, the whole world is against me, because that's what it seems like when this happens, it's actually not true. It's a few people that are making a lot of noise, and they then drag other people into it and become this little frenzy. But it's actually very localized. Even if, let's say, 10,000, 20,000 people go into this, like worst case scenario, and they start putting Google reviews on and they do all sorts of horrible things, then it is still a very, very small percentage of people in the world. And they actually don't know you. They don't know the core of you. They don't know who you really are. They don't really know why you do things, what your intention is behind things. And you need to keep that little piece of information, this little kind of gold nugget within yourself that you know deep down who you are. And this is just something you have to write out and then lean into all the support you can have from everybody who loves you, from the people that really matter. And remember, you still have your tribe and the people that love you. And everybody else, although they seem like it's everybody else hates me and the whole world is against me, it's actually not true. It's just however many people, hundreds, maybe a few thousands if this goes crazy. But it's actually the whole world is not against you. And the important thing is they're not against you, they're against some sort of story that they have formed in their heads. And that's what they're reacting against, right? It's like so many things get taken out of proportion. Now, if you see for example, the opposite, no, like there's stories on the Instagram when you're scrolling and they're like, oh, this is so cute. And to any animal wise person like a vet seeing like this cat that's doing this completely unnatural thing all dressed up and you're like, oh my God, what are they doing? Or the typical, oh, this dog is so cute, it's guarding the baby, and you're like, oh my God, that baby's gonna lose his fucking head in seconds now, right? But when you see the video and everybody form their story, which is very Disneyfied about this specific video, and then they all form their opinion, oh, that's so cute, you know, oh, I love that, oh my God, that's dog, it's just so brave and whatever. And we all like, that baby is gonna die, you know, that the dog is a psycho. They're taken out of proportion, so the people are commenting on something they see, but they don't actually know what's happening. No, they don't know the background or the context of the story, and that's what they're commenting on. They're not commenting on the real situation, which is something completely different than what we see on the images. So the same is when somebody, let's say a dog dies under your care or something else happens, and then some people start commenting, start complaining about it, start spreading rumors that you killed their dog against their will or whatever it is. And then other people obviously hear that and they are like, oh my God, this person is a murderer. You know, and they see you like this evil character like Cruella de Vil out of a Disney film. And of course, they're not going to like that story. They're going to want to rebel against it. And if they don't have anything else to do, maybe they're frustrated in their lives. They really want a divorce, but they can't because they don't have, you know, they can't leave their partner, whatever. They just can't get their ass in gear to do it. And then now they finally have something they could channel against a clear evil, Cruella de Vil, and that's you because of that story somebody told. But it's not real. It's not the real you they're talking about. I feel I'm ranting a lot here, but I didn't actually have a clear structure of this podcast. I just really wanted to get this off my chest because I realized like I'm in danger when I get a lot of positive feedback and I lean into that and I really relax and I let that wash over me and I feel great, because then I'm like, oh, so if somebody now writes a negative feedback, I'm in the shit, right? Because if all my happiness depended on everybody else liking me and a lot of strangers reaching out to me telling me how amazing I am, then the moment one person writes a bad review or says like, what did you say? You offended me, then I am going to feel very, very bad. So I to get it all together, what I want to say is be careful with depending on others' opinion for you to be happy, because it only takes one person's opinion of you to be screwed and be twisted, and then them creating a story about you and spreading that story, and then you're getting that thrown in your face and you feel terrible, you feel devastated because you were not grounded in yourself, you were not standing in on your own 2 feet, being confident in who you are, loving what you do, depending on what you do, knowing you can depend on yourself, you can trust yourself, that you're a good person, that you're a good vet. Yes, you might make mistakes, but what everybody else says is not really important, because that's just the glasses they put on that day, and that's the perspective they see you through, but they don't know the real you. That's what I wanted to say. And that's also for the positive, right? When people say something positive to you, it's nice, but they don't really know the real you. They say what they receive, which is amazing. But they don't really know the real person, who you are. That's something only the people you know, and then the people really close to you, the people that love you. So remember to lean in on them. Remember not to lose your network, no matter how busy you are and how much you love work. Make sure you have a network out of work. You know, your family or your chosen family, friends, anything. For example, I've got my Muay Thai. I go to Muay Thai a few times a week, and when I'm done, I go to CrossFit, and I have my little tribe there. So I make sure I have a really wide network I can lean on away from work, away from everything else I do. So if shit hits the fan, you know, I am grounded and I have people that really know who I am and who I am out of work to support me as well. All right. That's what I have to say today. Sorry about the long rant, but I hope this is helpful, and I hope this episode might reach someone who might be in this situation or has just gone through it and feel really alone and feel really shit because they got a lot of bad external feedback. Okay, take care, and thanks again for all your positive feedback. Bye.